Leave it to Lesibu Grand to wave the checkered flag on the baby pink Cadillac race to eclectic excellence. You can even ask Afropunk, who named their 2020 single WFS the punk anthem we needed that year. Their first single, Hush Hush, generated max volume in 2019. 10 singles, an EP, a deluxe EP, a handful of remixes, and 9 short films later, with plenty on the way, they have zapped their name onto the lineup for South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, and will perform on March 19th. Atlanta is their arcade. Good luck trying to beat their high score. Hello, everyone. Happy Women's History Month. Thank you so much for tuning into the For the Punks YouTube channel. If this is your first time saying hi, welcome. We are all friends now. For the Punks is a resource and publication for fans and creators to connect, learn, and grow. So subscribe right now to be the first to know whenever we upload. My name is Precious. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a writer on the For the Punks team. Our angel of the hour is the unstoppable Tyler-Simone Molton. Hello, Tyler. We are so happy to have you.
Oh, thank you so much for that beautiful, wonderful introduction. Precious, you are amazing, and you are also an angel. Happy Women's Month to all those women out there, and the men too, because y'all need to celebrate too. But I'm so honored to be here with For the Punks, and I'm ready to answer whatever questions you want to throw at me.
Yes, of course. No, thank you so much for this lovely opportunity. This is going to be an electric conversation. I am completely animated to press start and talk about how Lesibu's first band rehearsal compares and contrasts with their most recent rehearsal, how they maintain humility, and what the band has revealed to them about their power. Now, you all have so much going on. There's so much to talk about. So much is happening. I would love to do a mental health check-in to make sure you're doing okay.
Aww.
So for my first question, drum roll, please. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you so much for asking. I would say that mental health has been on the fritz for a majority of us, considering the years we've had. And I'm just excited that there's still new things happening on the horizon that are, positive and, make you feel good inside. Honestly, like performing live music is my favorite part of being a musician. So the fact that I can do that again has definitely accelerated my mood for sure.
Yes. And right now we're filming this right at the end of February. Since February is the month of love, have you been feeling loved lately? Like, can you feel the love from the Lesibu Grand community?
I can definitely feel the love. There's love in the air everywhere. It's definitely a time of love in my life personally, as well as in the band. So the love front is love-tastic.
Fantastic. Oh my God, I'm going to steal that and like make a t-shirt out of it. Oh my God.
I was just about to say, that's a t-shirt right there.
Yes. Okay, you can make the t-shirt and then I'll buy it.
Let's go into business together. What do you mean?
Oh my God, okay. So we're just gonna have like a business meeting after this. This will be great. Oh my God. Yes. No, literally, congratulations on absolutely everything. It would take a million hours to list all of the achievements and all of the accolades. Like, oh my God. So I'm sending the warmest congratulations on all your hard work.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Now, I would love to know, what is your excitement equation? What thrills you about your career?
So, my excitement equation, I like that phrasing. So I'd have to say performing live plus sunny weather plus frequent breaks in between, because you have to hustle but also have rest time, plus being focused yields successful and happy career in the music industry.
Oh my God, I love that. No, okay, I'm paraphrasing. Somebody somewhere said that like success is not an act but a habit, or like a collection of habits, or it's dependent on how good your habits are. So I love that perspective. And it kind of, I guess, helps you zoom out a little bit and just focus on the day-to-day tasks. So now, okay, but I am wondering, like, do you have enough time to get excited before it's time to focus on what's next?
Um, yes and no. I think getting excited happens for me after the fact because sometimes excitement can, generate nervousness. So I try not to overthink it because I don't want to psych myself out for certain situations. And I think I try to stay focused on like what's happening in the present and just enjoying it to the fullest. And then, reflecting afterwards and being like, wow, that's really cool that we did that. So I kind of take that approach just so I don't get too ahead of myself.
Yes. Now, okay, you guys have been in the game for a couple years now. When did you learn that about excitement? Like, did you learn that very early on, or is that something you're just now starting to learn about?
I think I'm learning it continually. I don't think I'm a master at excitement by any means. I mean, you honestly seem like the master of excitement, so I might need to take a page out of your book.
Oh my
Uh,
God.
I did. I mean, I used to be a cheerleader, so of course, like being excited for other people has always been something that comes naturally to me. But being excited for yourself is kind of, it's hard because you want to be excited for yourself, but you don't want to get your hopes up. So it's kind of a balancing act between those two things, which is why I think I am still learning the perfect mix and to achieve that balance of excitement versus keeping realistic expectations, if you will.
Yes. And I suppose it's probably a lot easier when you have an entire band, when you have a collection of friends or people you're close to, people that are in it with you to support you. That definitely takes the pressure off. Because, yes, getting excited for yourself, being happy for yourself is so difficult. So, yes, well, we are so excited for you, of course.
Thank you.
Now, can we please time travel back to your very first band rehearsal? Do you remember that day? Like, what was that day like? What were you nervous about?
So it's interesting when you said that earlier, it made me kind of time travel in my head. And I was like, when was our first rehearsal? I'd have to say it was like not a full band session. It was actually just the three of us, my guitarist, John, the bass player, and Brian, or Ryan is a guitarist, John and I were all three there. And we basically just had a jam session where I think, learned Jennifer My Girl and maybe Hush Hush. And I think Miranda. I think those were like the three first songs we went over. And I just remember feeling slightly nervous about sharing my songs with them because I didn't really know them as well as I do now. And I was like, they're going to think these songs suck. But thankfully, everybody like gelled really well. We got along well. And it was just, we were just trying to make music at the time. We were definitely babies as Lesibu Grand is concerned. And we've definitely come a long way since our most recent practice, which was last week before our show at 529. And we're just like going through it. We just know the songs in our blood and our bones. And it's just like a lot more energetic because it's a full band. Lee and Warren are playing with us now. And it's just really high energy and fun.
Oh, we can totally tell, even just from your live performances. Like, I'm so jealous everybody's gonna see you guys in Austin. Like, it's so magical. I feel like every part of it you get a different experience, but it's like a collective energy. Like your music videos, which we're about to get into. You watch your music videos, it's a whole experience. You see you guys live, it's a whole experience. Just listening to your music, whether it's off of a playlist or just the record itself, it's the sky, not even like Earth sky, all the way to Jupiter. Like, Jupiter sky is the limit to everything that you guys are capable of. So yes, okay.
We do like to go to outer space, as you've seen in some of our music videos. So that's kind of, we're trying to get to the Jupiter skies for sure.
Literally, I just feel like this is just written in the stars because I love space. Like there's a movie called Interstellar. Interstellar is my favorite movie of all time. So when I saw your guys' Hot Glue Gun music video, it was the first music video I had seen, and I was just completely blown away, astonished. I wish I can like erase that memory just so I could watch it again for the first time. Every pixel is marvelous. Now,
thank you.
I'm curious, what video game do you feel like best represents your imagination's arcade? Like, if your imagination was a video game, would it be a sandbox, an adventure game, survival game, a multiplayer online role-playing game? Like, what do you think? Mine would be Minecraft
Honestly,
mode.
Okay, Minecraft was cool. Mine probably be like a multiverse, like different kind of characters game. Maybe like, I know it's not a video game, but like Dungeons and Dragon type deal, because I do think I like doing role playing activities. And I do see myself as somebody who has a lot of people involved in my life. So I'm not really like on the single player mode. So like multiplayer, maybe like Mario Party.
Yes. But you definitely get a Mario Kart vibe in Hot Glue Gun. No, for sure. Were you interested in video games when you were younger, like fantasy books? Like, when did you first how are you introduced to your own imagination?
Um, it's funny because I wasn't really allowed to play video games when I was growing up. Like my mom always wanted us to have like limited video games, limited television. We did play like at friends' house, but we didn't get a video game console until my uncle bought us one for Christmas. And we used to play Pac-Man World 2 and Crash Bandicoot. And so like as far as video games are concerned, I don't think they kind of generated my imagination, but it definitely helps flourish it. But my imagination started when I was really young, like maybe 4 or 5, and I was like, oh, I'm a fairy. I used to think I was a fairy, and I used to really think that. So, like a fairy princess or something. And I don't know, I've just always been interested in just like the imagination and like fantasy and really being like a fairy tale princess, kind of like how you said, definitely into the the princess storyline, I guess you would say. It's a place where dreams come true, and I'm all about making dreams come true for myself and for other people. So that's what I like about having that childlike imagination, because it definitely helps you believe in yourself more, and encourage others to do the same. And I think it's a positive thing.
It is such a positive thing. And you can still be a fairy or a fairy tale princess if you wish really hard. Like you can totally still be all those things. So that's so funny. Like I guess maybe, yeah, because if you, I guess, kind of being restricted from that kind of maybe increased your interest in it overall, and now it's like just exploded into all this amazingness. So yes. Now, what about like how the game would work? Like, do you feel like you're always trying to beat your high score? Like, are you in constant competition with yourself? Like, okay, you make one music video and you're like, okay, the next one has to be the biggest and the best and better than this, and then you make the next one, and it's like this never ending cycle? Or do you just kind of allow the art to happen and show itself to you?
I think it's definitely a combination of both, with leaning towards more of the just natural creativity side, because I think competition is kind of the opposite of art in a way. I'm not saying that I think competition is bad, because I do think it helps you push yourself to another level and kind of just challenges you to be better. But I'm definitely like kind of a hippie when it comes to creativity. I like to be in the perfect setting. Like, I don't like to feel pressured into creating something. So I definitely feel like I create better when I'm in a more laid back setting and not so competitive. But competition is good once you have that art like secured and finished, and then you're kind of like putting it up against something that's already complete. Like, in the process of creativity, I think it's best to be laid back, and then once you're done creating, then you can go ahead and be a little bit more competitive.
That is so true. Because, yes, in competition, I feel like comes maybe comparison. And of course, that is the thief of all joy. I was talking to one of my friends the other day. We were talking about how there's this saying going around about, like, don't be afraid to be seen trying. Like, especially when you're a beginner, or even if you've been doing something for a while, but you're trying out a new idea, you're afraid. You're like, I don't know if anybody's gonna like this. I don't know if anybody's gonna be into this. And you're afraid to make those mistakes. But there's so much joy that can be found in like celebrating being naive, not knowing about something, getting excited to learn about something.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, it's boring if you're just perfect from the jump. You have nowhere to go. So I had to learn that too, just being okay making mistakes and it not being perfect and finding the beauty in those things. So I agree.
Oh, that is amazing. Oh my God. Now, also on the topic of your hot glue gun music video.
I should have brought my hot glue gun with me.
Oh my God. Do you still have the same one from the music video?
Yeah, I keep it in my house. I'm just like, this is my little token of me, I guess.
If I ever come to one of your shows, can I like bring a glue? Well, I don't know if they let me bring a glue gun in there, but I was gonna say, if I can bring it and like you decide, I don't know if they would let. Okay,
Aw, yeah.
maybe one day if I'm ever in Atlanta and we're at a party or something, I'll just like hand you a glue
Bring
gun.
that glue gun. That would be amazing. I would definitely sign your hot glue gun.
Oh my God! Now that's really cool. Do you usually keep all of the props from your music videos? Like,
We keep a lot of them. Some of them go in the studios that we've filmed with, and so they can use it kind of as like a, you know, I don't know what to call it, just like a
souvenir type.
souvenir, exactly.
Yes.
You know, to show people what they've done and who they've worked with. So it's it's all around town. Some of the props are with me, some of them are with John, some of them are with Sailor Face. So
Oh, that is so cool. Uh, but yes, like on the topic of your Hot Glue Gun music video, in December of 2020, you told Brooklyn Vegans Andrew Satcher, and I quote, in the song, the hot glue gun is a symbol of the DIY ethic and a reminder that we, as members of a democracy, already have the tools we need to fix our government, activism, community engagement, and of course, the vote. On another level, the hot glue gun is commonly used in cosplay culture to build costumes. In the right hands, it transforms people into their favorite characters and reclaims popular culture for those once marginalized. Now, I applaud all of your artistic commentary and admire your honesty. How would you describe your approach to critique, analysis, and intellectual intimacy?
okay, that's a deep question. So my process really is to really hear what someone else is saying, even if I don't wholeheartedly agree. Um, I just try to hear the other person out and try to see it from their point of view, and then express my point of view and see how we can align. I think that's the best way to facilitate change with somebody who doesn't necessarily have your same point of view. Because a lot of times we criticize people who have an unfamiliar or a non-similar point of view, and it ends up offending them or makes them more closed off. It doesn't make them want to change more. So I try to take the approach of criticizing with like understanding being the first, priority. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but this is how I see it, As far as intimacy, I think that just creates intimacy, because if you disagree with someone and can be respectful about your disagreement, it does create a more, an environment of trust. And trust is something that is like a cornerstone for intimacy. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Oh my, that is a beautiful answer. Because you have a passion for critical thinking. Like, we have to ask the tough questions, the uncomfortable questions, in order to get to the root of our problems, so that we can start seeing change. We have to start being honest with ourselves. And it seems like you guys had a lot of momentum. You really started to develop a rhythm in 2020. And I'm wondering, like, in terms of the social commentary, the central themes of your music videos, were those pre-planned before COVID and lockdown, or was 2020 the main inspiration for those themes?
So some of the songs we wrote before COVID, I mean, I shouldn't say before COVID happened, but before it was like such a big worldwide thing. And it was kind of coincidental that we were able to use this song to kind of talk about that issue, as well as the political stuff that was going on at the time. And yeah, it kind of just worked out perfectly. It was a bit serendipitous, if I'm being honest. So it was kind of coincidental and lucky for us that we were able to write a song that was so relevant, and hopefully that will speak to people for years to come, because this is definitely a point in time that will go in the history books, and our children's children will probably learn about COVID-19 in the year of 2020, like as one of those historic years that changed a lot of things. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yes, it was like the perfect timing. I'm wondering, do you ever feel pressured or put pressure on yourself to have all of the political answers? Because I feel like people that were creating art during that time felt some sort of obligation, of course, to speak on the matter, but do you ever feel kind of overwhelmed by just how heavy those topics can get over time?
I definitely feel overwhelmed with how heavy those topics are. I do think it is important to have a stance. I am somebody who is not the biggest political fan. Like, of course, I vote and I participate in like local elections and stuff like that. But in my free time, I don't like discussing politics. It's honestly something that I try not to talk about. And that could be a good or a bad thing, but that's just how I am. And recently it's been so in the forefront that it's impossible not to discuss it. Um, with discussing it, though, I do think it's important to take ourselves out of the equation for a moment to appreciate other things in life, so that we can regroup and continue to fight forward for the sake of progress and do things that are beneficial towards those issues. I think if you spend your whole time being consumed with those issues, it's never really going to work itself out. And you'll probably become burnt out on the issue and then eventually stop fighting towards it anyway. So you definitely have to give yourself grace, knowing that you can't fix all the world's problems, but also taking breaks in your process of fixing the world's problems when you try to, do your part.
Oh, I love that perspective. That is so important. Setting boundaries with journalism and the news, not watching, only receiving the news whenever you're ready for it. It's totally safe to enjoy life, not like force yourself to I guess just like take in the world's trauma all the time. Especially as artists, it's probably difficult because maybe there's this responsibility to make art that reflects the times, but there's also, like you said, so many other things to concentrate on that really can kind of help contribute to it as well, like just kind of reminding everybody of all of the joy that is still in existence. So that's so well said. Oh my God. Now, with all of the oh my God, whatever, Tyler. Oh my God, here we go. No, no, that was amazing. Now, with all of the success that Lesibu Grand has experienced, what is your approach to maintaining humility? Is it tough dealing with, because I guess like, okay, Eckhart Tolle is this philosopher and he talks a lot about the ego and how it is inferiority and superiority. So like sometimes a big ego can mean like just being constantly insecure. um so when it comes to the success, like how do you maintain humility? How do you stay grounded?
I think I learned about being humble at a young age because that's how I was kind of raised. Always to be confident in yourself, but never that you're better than anyone else. And the only person that you're supposed to try to be better than is the person you were yesterday, essentially. And I do think that we all have the ability to be great. And I just think that's something that is given. So being humble is part of that. It's something that I work on. I'm not the most humble person in the world because I do think that, what we're doing is cool and I think highly of myself, but I don't think that I focus on it wholeheartedly. And I definitely have people who I'm surrounded by who keep me grounded and, check me if I need checking, for lack of a better phrase. But it's a work in progress, I would say.
Yes, it's definitely a work in progress. And whenever things are on the rise, whenever projects are on the rise, bands are on the rise, there can be a specific amount of criticism, either from the public or you start becoming more critical of yourself. I personally would love to know, like, how do you keep from taking things too personally? Because lately I realize I take a lot of things personally. Like, I I don't know, because I used to be a server, so like whenever I'm a server table and they will be mad at me because I like didn't refill their drink, I would just take it personally and have a whole bad day for the rest of the day. So how do you feel about that?
I think taking things personally is, I guess it kind of ties to what you were saying about like ego, because taking it personally is meaning that you think that these people have some sort of plan to be out to get you. And I just had to learn that in reality, most people are focused on themselves. So the likelihood that they're trying to personally offend me by the things that they're doing is low. And you just have to take a step back from the situation and just realize everybody's going through their own thing. And yes, people sometimes offend you. And if it's something that you want to address, then do that. But address it from the perspective of like, look, you did this, and I'm sure your intentions weren't to offend me, but they did in this way. So let's move forward and try not to do that. And I guess it's about setting boundaries again. With the boundaries, I guess that's the theme, is setting boundaries in life, which I'm also new at. So it's also something that I'm working on. Um, but yeah, no, I feel you. Taking things personally is, I think, in human nature, because that's just how humans are shaped. That's how we are.
Okay, I will work on it. Thank you.
We will work on it together.
Okay, we'll work on it together. We'll let each other know how we're doing 5 years from now. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, that is such another great perspective on that. Yes, we all are kind of in our own realities, which is honestly a good thing. Like that whole saying of like nobody is thinking about you, it's like it's so relieving. It's like thank God, because like everybody makes mistakes like every hour. So like thank goodness nobody is looking at all the mistakes all the time. So yes.
Yeah. And
Now,
then also you do have people, I mean, nobody is thinking about you is a stretch, but like I think I understand what you mean, as in like nobody's focusing in on all of your issues and mistakes and trying to hold it against you and are plotting against you. That's just not the reality of most situations. I'm not going to speak for all situations because I'm sure there's people out there who are like that, but I don't know those people, thankfully.
yes, like nobody is fixating on the things that we're fixating on. So yes, that's amazing. Now, I heard, okay, so you were on an episode of Let's Talk with Skogs, and I heard you mention that you make voice memos for yourself every morning, like kind of just like a little love note to yourself every morning. That's beautiful. Affirmations are everything. Would you like to share like the behind the scenes of how that got started?
So the voice memos thing, I try to do it daily, but I don't always do it every day. And it's a variety of things. It's not always affirmations. Sometimes it's just like ideas for a song or ideas for something that I want to write. But the behind the scenes is not really that exciting. It's just I was like, oh, I have a phone. Let me make use of it. It has recording software. I'm gonna use it as a recorder. If you think about the 70s and 80s, people had tape recorders. That was the thing. So it's kind of essentially a tape recorder for me. Um, I honestly might go back to the old school way and buy a tape recorder because I think it's more secure. Because these days with technology, like if you talk about something, I'm sure I'm going to get ads for like writing and for the punks and Let's Talk with Skogs, like advertisements after our call. So I might have to switch back to analog to tape recorders.
Right, we're gonna have to go backwards because technology is getting a little too scary and a little too like a little too perfect. Like, how did you know that? I didn't even some things you don't even say out loud. You just think about it. You're like, oh, how did this Google search? Why is this popping up in my Google search?
Too spot on.
So yes, okay, you guys get a tape recorder. That would actually be really cool. I bet they have like a ton of them still left somewhere.
I'm sure we can order one on Amazon. I'm sure I'm gonna get ads for tape recorders too. So I'll be able to
Okay, so sometimes it's a good thing. You know, you really have to search for it. It's just gonna pop up one day. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah. No, yes, a little tape recorder with like headphones and stuff. That would be so cool. I love that. It definitely made me feel a lot crazy or a lot less crazy because I use voice memos too, and I was like, oh my god, okay, yay, somebody else uses that. So that's great. Now, okay, after everything that we talked about with Lesibu Grand, like I would love to know what has Lesibu Grand revealed to you thus far about your power, about what's possible.
I think it revealed to me that I have the power to be a leader and an influencer of, just people who are listening to our music and even to my bandmates. Initially, I wasn't really prepared to, or not prepared, but I didn't really feel secure in my position, I guess. And I felt bad, like kind of trying to guide what I wanted our sounds to be. But I kind of started getting a little bit more, I guess commanding is the word. I don't know. Just taking charge and just being the leader that people want to have and, not being a dictator, not ignoring other people's suggestions, taking criticism constructively instead of personally, like we talked about, and just overall being a better leader. I think that's the biggest thing. And as well as learning how to collaborate, because being an artist can kind of skew that ability because you want things to be a certain way. But when you're working with other artists, they have a vision too. So you kind of have to learn how to work with others to create a joint vision, essentially. So those two things are definitely what I've learned.
Yes, that before Lesibu Grand, like had you ever fronted a band before or like led anything before, been the leader of anything before?
No, actually. I mean, I've been a coach for like cheerleading squads and like I've nannied. I've been in charge before, but as far as being a leader of a band, this is my first time.
Wow. Okay. So first time's the charm. Like that is amazing. Wow. Yes, there's so much to learn, and collaborating can be difficult, or not necessarily difficult, but it is a muscle because when it comes to art, you can be really personally attached to your art. You're like, I want it to be like this. And so working with everybody's ideas, that's just going to make you even stronger, even improve even more as time goes on.
Yeah. And I would definitely say like setting an expectation when you're working with others is also a good way to not feel like you're not being heard as far as what you're trying to express, and setting time for yourself to be able to just be that only person that has full control over your art. You set aside time to do that. And then when you're working with the band, you come together and work together. That way there's balance. So I think that's something that I've learned to do as well, so that I don't feel as strained when I'm doing that collaborative work.
Yes, like, do you experience that freedom that comes with leadership and entrepreneurship?
Yes, definitely. It's definitely a big responsibility, but there's a lot of freedom there, which is why it's amazing. Like, you can pretty much make whatever you want happen. So that's awesome.
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay, yes, we're so happy. Obviously, it is working. Like, you guys have found a rhythm. You guys have found an equation. You guys have been experimenting. And I think, oh my God, you're really, really, you're developing a signature. Like, for sure. I mean, because you have a couple of music videos on the way. By the time this interview comes out, it'll, like, your exercise music video will probably already be out, and any other projects over the next couple of weeks. But when people see it, they're like, that's Lesibu Grand. Like, yes. So okay. Now, if you and I were in a music video or a movie right now, this is the part where the orchestra would go, dun, 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 because we have arrived at the final scene, the final question. Oh my God. This was too much fun. I'm literally so sad. My heart is broken right now. My final question is, Tyler, what makes you smile?
Oh, well, right now, I'm not even gonna lie. Lovely. Like, seeing someone like you who is just enjoying what they're doing, and is really intelligent, and has all these positive things going for them, beautiful inside and out. That kind of thing makes me smile, because it gives me hope to try to be a better person, to try to be like that. um, as well as just being with family and friends and the people that I love. Just simple things. This beautiful day outside, the fact that it's like 75 degrees outside is amazing. Like, I'm super happy. Definitely the simple things in life are what make me smile.
Oh my, I'm so jealous. Right, because you're in Atlanta, right? Or you're in Georgia right now.
Yeah.
I'm in Arkansas, so it's snowing right now. My mom, it's snowing. Oh, it's like ice. It's icing, it's sleeting, but there's like some snow mixed in, and it was thundering earlier. And my mom is so funny because she's like, yeah, I told him I wasn't going to work today. I'm not going to work tomorrow either. She's so funny. But yes, and like the sun is just like hitting you so perfectly right now. Yes. But
Aww.
oh my God, all those things you said is so nice. Thank you so much, Tyler. Oh my God. No, you all are definitely making a lot of people smile, whether it's your family or each other, your fan base, people that haven't even like met you yet, like that are gonna get to find out about you guys in the future as time goes on. Like, there's so much joy ahead for Lesibu Grand, and it's just been such an amazing honor to have you. So thank you so much again, Tyler.
Thank you for having me, Precious. And again, happy Women's Month. And I hope to talk with you guys again soon. For the Punks is amazing. Y'all are super rad.
Oh my God, Carolyn is gonna freak out. She's so excited. Oh my God. Before, yes, hi Carolyn. Oh my God, Carolyn, we love you so much. I'm gonna start a Carolyn fan club. Like, I'm gonna start one behind her back with the rest of the For the Punks team, and it's gonna be amazing. Now, before we go, once again, I have to thank you all so much for tuning into the For the Punks YouTube channel. Now is the time to like, subscribe, and leave a comment letting us know what you thought of today's video. You can follow the band Lesibu Grand at Lesibu Grand on Instagram. Stay up to date with the band on their website, lesibugrand.com. Stream their latest single, Friends with My Friends, as well as Exercise, WFS, and Hot Glue Gun on all music streaming platforms. Head on over to their YouTube channel to check out their music videos and stay tuned for their performance at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas.